Hello, everybody. So today's video that we're doing is going to be a spotlight and tutorial on the Ladies Feast and Farming mod. This little beauty right here. This is known as the Farmer's Shed. So, just so you know, there are a lot of crops in this mod. I did not plant every single seed that this mod provides. I did, however, plant only the crops which you will use to craft the foods in the cooking pot. This is the farmer's shed. This is your main bench. Look at the detail. You got herbs, you got veggies, you got vines, sunflowers. You got the little compost bin. You got a beehive hanging in there. You got a pitchfork. You got milk containers. And you have little bags of seeds. So, let's get into it, shall we? So in here, you have all your seeds. You can have the cooling station, which acts as a refrigerator. As you can see, it only takes 5 wood. This here is the chicken coop. Again, 5 wood. Your cultivator tool. This is an important piece that you're going to need when you're dealing with your crop plots. Okay, it's 10 metal, 10 wood, easy peasies. So your seeds, any kind of seed, berry seeds, savory root, long grass, any kind of seed you can get your hands on of the base game will turn into these seeds. It's very simple. Spoiling bin, 5 wood. Awesome, awesome thing. You put your meat in it and it spoils. Yay, narcotics. So the benches that we have in here in this mod is going to be the cooking stove. It has 3 different types. So you're going to have 3 variants. Then you're going to have your spice station. You're going to have your pasta station. You're going to have your fluid press. You're going to have your butcher station. You're going to have a churning station. You're going to have a milking station. Cow. Very cool. You're going to have a beehive. As you can see, it takes fiber, organic polymer, and sap to create this. Then you have your crop plots. You have 3 different sizes. With the large, medium, and small. They all take 10 wood. See how I have all these seeds in here? And the wood and stone. That is so I could show you that this is how you craft that stuff. Okay? So you got avocado, you got berry bush, you got all kinds of veggies. Okay, so this is the sizes. This is your large. This is your medium. This is your small. Now here I planted some of the white grapes. This has been tilled. So I'm going to take out my cultivator tool. Boom, harvest. That gave me 45 of the fruit as well as 45 of the seeds. If you look to the left of the screen, you will see that pop up. Boom, 45 and 45. So small and medium, both 45 when you harvest with the tool. Large crop plot, same, 45 and 45 with the tool. Okay, so cultivator tool is very important. Over here you have your beehives. Now, your beehives do not passively make honey. They will not. You have to put your flowers in there, and you have to select how many you want to create. Now, it's the same, like you want to craft all, you can craft all. You want to just do 5. For me, that's going to be the square button, and I'll just craft 5. Or however many you decide to make. Okay, so you do not passively make honey at all. You literally, it's like a bench. You just put it in there and you craft it. Okay? It's the same for all of them. See? No passively made honey. I set all this up prior to videoing. so that I can show y'all. No passive honey. Alright, chicken coop. It is adorable. So, the chicken coop is quite cute. You actually have chickens inside the coop. And on the top of the coop. Chickens inside and outside do move. Do they hop around and make noise? Cute. Here. So in here, you're going to put regular seeds. Okay? Just regular seeds. And then you can craft the same way. They make the eggs. This is going to be used as an ingredient in where you craft in the cooking stove. So you're going to need these. Alright, we have the milking station. Look at the cow. So pretty. You got your little bench, your little milk things. Look at the cow. Yeah. In here, you're going to make milk. You're going to need corn for that. Okay, so the corn is part of the crops that you're going to be planting when you craft it in the shed. Okay. Now, with this, the crops, you don't need any fertilizer or water. None. You can craft in here your regular crops and your regular seeds. So, if you want to plant, as you can see, I have citronella, I have savory root, I have long grass, and I have rock carrot. You can put the base seeds and crops in these crop plots, and they will grow the same way your other crops do. It's not ready yet. Sorry. It's a growthling. So growthling, so it goes through a few stages once you plant a seed. You want it to be fruiting in order to till, to actually harvest. But before it's an adult, you want to make sure that you rake and till your crop plots, because that will give you a higher yield. Okay, so we're going to put this away. So as you can see, this is an ARK berry, base game seed. So if you want to harvest it by hand, you just pick it up. As you can see, because it was previously tilled, it gave me 45. So I'm going to leave it untilled, so now it's a growthling again. Alright, not fruiting. So you have to wait. This one here is fruiting. This is the sunflowers. You can harvest by hand again, harvest crop, okay, or don't forget to rake it, because you won't get that many. You'll only get 15 if it is unraked. Okay, so then you have another. See how it says growing lemon seed, growth is fruiting, and is raked and tilled. So whack it. See, now it says it's growthling, which means it's growing the fruit, which means it is not ready to harvest. So we're just going to do the rest of these real quick so we can keep everybody on the same schedule. Now again, I'm not going to rake or till this once. I can show you, once it gets to fruiting, the amount you get by hand, because it's not raked or tilled. So, now, these white grapes are not needed in the current recipes in the cooking stove, but I still grew them so I could show you the different size crop plots, and that if you're using the cultivating tool, then it doesn't matter the size. You still get 45. Okay. So harvesting by hand, again, 45. Medium by hand, 45. Large by hand, 45. Okay, so we're going to retill these. Okay. Now, since you're going to need a lot of seeds to craft the seeds that you use to create these crops, I always suggest taming an iguanodon for your very first little bit because they are a game changer. These wonderful creatures will take these berries in their inventory, walk up to it on your radio wheel, and you select seed, fruit, and inventory. Hit that. All those berries, except for, you know, 2 of the Tintos, are now seeds, which you can take over to the farmer's shed, place them in, and craft your seeds you need for your crops. You can use a theory to harvest berries and then put the berries in the iguanodon. Theories have a very good hitbox and they collect berries like nobody's business. Hello. Now this right here is one of the variants for the cooking stove. As you can see, it's called Cooking Pit. There is no fuel in it. It's the largest of the variants on the stove. I think it's cool. I like to set it outside just so it shows, you know, some cool. I play RP servers, so if you don't know what RP is, it's role play. Alrighty, here's our spoiling bin. Cute little guy. Can get smelly at times. You put your raw meat in there, and he'll turn it right into spoiled meat. This is the second variant of the cooking stove called the grill. As you can see, it looks very cool. It's got the stacked wood, it's got the tongs, it's got cooking pots, it's got skillets, all kinds of stuff. It looks amazing. This here is a fluid press. It is also an amazing bench. It's very well detailed. In this one, you will craft your oil for cooking, which is going to be needing corn, sunflower seeds, and potatoes, all the crops that are in what we've planted. Okay? And then this oil is fish oil. You're going to need a large fish for it. We will get to that. Trust me, it's amazing. This is the spice station. You're going to need this. It's amazing. So you get to have seasonings, you get refined sugar, you get ground coffee, you get ground chamomile, flour, cocoa powder, and the spice bags. Now, here's the thing about the spice bags. It is a random chance on what you get, and you're not going to get the same thing every single time. So, as you can see, you're going to need paprika, salt, and peppercorn. Well, guess what's all made in the spice bag? Salt, paprika, peppercorn, nutmeg, dill, cinnamon. This is your ground chamomile. This is your ground coffee. This is regular refined sugar. This is your flour. You're going to need, in order to craft these, any kind of regular base seed and fiber. Okay? And then once you create it and you get your seasonings, that's when you can make your seasoning bag that you're going to need in your recipes. It's so cool. I love it. And I love how, you know, it's very detailed. You got little seed bins. You got herbs. It's just, it's amazing looking. I love it. Now over here, this is your pasta station. Pasta station is amazing. Okay. So you're going to need your cooking oil. Remember, we were over there at the fluid press? You're going to need your flour. Oh, wait. Yeah, we made that in the spice station. And you're going to need eggs. Oh, yeah, the chicken coop. And your salt, again, at the spice station. Now, for your bread dough, you're going to need flour and milk. Oh, spice station. Oh, milking station. Amazing. And then here, this is pastry dough. You're going to need butter. How do we make butter? Don't worry, honey. We'll get to that. Flour, again, spice station. Eggs, chicken coop. Okay? Didn't make it in. Okay, so now we're at the butcher station. You got fishies, you got sausages, you got meat hanging, steak hanging, you got chicken, all kinds of knives, nice and laid out, nice drapery, I love it. Okay, in here, all kinds of meats. What you're gonna need raw mutton, raw fish, raw meat, raw prime. As you can see, this poultry meat, raw meat. For the venison, raw meat. For tender fish meat, raw fish. For sumptuous game meat, you're going to need prime meat. For steak, raw meat. For snail meat, don't ask me why, no clue, raw meat. I would think we'd need something else, but raw fish is for the small fish. You're going to need raw prime meat for the sausage. You're going to need raw prime meat for the rich game flank. You're going to need raw meat for the ribs. You're going to need raw meat for the red meat. You're going to need raw mutton. Yeah, you heard me. Raw mutton for prime ribs. You're going to need raw prime meat for prime red meat. You're going to need raw meat for poultry wing. You're going to need raw meat for poultry thigh. You're going to need raw mutton for venison tenderloin. You're going to need the raw meat for poultry breast. You're going to need raw prime meat for pork tenderloin. For pork meat, raw meat. For the pork belly, raw prime meat. For oyster meat, I guess eventually we'll have a seafood medley, raw meat. Then for medium fish, you need raw fish. For large fish, here's the kicker, raw prime fish meat. You heard me, raw prime fish meat. So, salmon. Then for the game meat, raw mutton. For the game meat, again, raw prime meat. For the firm fish meat, raw prime fish. For the exotic fish, raw fish. For delicate fish meat, raw prime fish meat. For the clam meat, raw prime fish meat. And for bacon, oh hell yes, bacon, you need mutton. These are what they come out looking like. Okay, as you know, we take this large fish over there and put him in the fluid press, and he makes fish oil. Okay, amazing, love it. All right, so now we're at the churning station. Remember, we were wondering where we made butter? Okay, look, for cheese, you need milk. Milking station. For butter, here we go, you need milk from the milking station. And cream from the milking station. Okay? Churning station. Love it. Very cool. Very neat. You got your cheeses, you got your churn, you got your cheesecloth hanging there, stool. Now, icebox. Known as the cooling station. Absolutely amazing. You know why it's amazing? It holds a lot. One. It holds 300 pieces. Two. There's no timer. It doesn't spoil. It halts it. Wherever it was, it halts it. It's not spoiling. It's not moving. It's suspended in time. It's not moving. Now, I will tell you, organic polymer will spoil. It does not stop organic polymer or those nodes from the extinction area that you use in place of polymer from decaying. It will decay. This is the second variant, known as the pantry. Also, cooling station. Cool, huh? Right? You got. Let's go to the photo mode. Look at all that. Look at the detail. Isn't that amazing? Bottles, plates, bowls. It's absolutely so cool. I, for one, absolutely love the detail, craftsmanship that went into this mod. It is absolutely amazing. and I love it. Okay, so back over here. Remember those foods I was talking to you about that we're going to craft? Well, you make them in the stove. So, Feast of the Sea, also known as Lazarus chowder. Blueberries, large fish, tomato, exotic fish meat, potatoes. Okay, so you see how all the stations and your crops tie in together? Okay, liquid knowledge, also known as broth of enlightenment. Blueberries, potatoes, rice, honey, refined sugar, and wheat. Over here, the reset, aka mind wipe. You're going to need chamomile, purple grapes, rice, refined sugar, and wheat. Bugman's ale. Interesting. So, an ale that bolsters one's resolve but hits you like 4 drinks. So, if you want your buddies to get drunk, here you go. Narcotics. Narcoberries. Yeah, you heard me. Narcoberries. That's why we planted those. Raspberry, refined sugar, and wheat. Now, game, ribs, and rice, also known as shadow steak. Parsley, ribs, rosemary, prime ribs, rice, and seasonings. Sharp sugar. It's also a health and energy brew. Chamomile, ground coffee, refined sugar, and rosemary. Dryads, less cocoa, also known as Freya curry. So you're going to need cinnamon. Remember Spice Station? Yeah, that's a fun one. Cream, cocoa powder, and milk. Alright, we have Dragon's Resilience, also known as Callum soup. You're going to need chili pepper, lemon, peppercorn, red bell pepper, and sausage. Gluttonous Feast. This is for food regeneration. Exotic fish meat, pork belly, poultry thigh, prime red meat, prime ribs, rich game flank, sumptuous game meat. Yeah. Tireless stew, also known as endo stew. You're going to do blueberries, carrot, ground coffee, potato, and sumptuous game meat. This is my favorite. This is the savory pot pie. This is the veggie cake. So you're going to need your bread dough, honey, pork belly, poultry thigh, prime red meat, and sumptuous game meat. This is Dino Sweet Treats, an imprint treat. So you got a baby, you want it to imprint on you, there you go. So you're going to need cinnamon, fun, cocoa powder, pastry dough, and refined sugar. Now, this is called Stardust Biscuits. It's a Dino Mind Wipe plus resets harvesting levels. So if you have leveled your dino in a certain harvesting area, you can reset that. If you want to reset your dino's points back to default, and say you didn't remember what those stats originally were, you can reset it back with this treat. So you're going to need anarcho berries, you're going to need pastry dough, rare mushroom, refined sugar. Chaos Spitfire Ramen, focal chili, chili pepper, egg, garlic, pasta, peppercorn, and pork belly. Estelle's cheesecake, also known as a rare flower buff. Remember how you don't eat rare flowers because everything comes at you? Well, this spicy little fella does that for you. Blueberries, cream, egg, refined sugar, and strawberries. Zell's hot toddy, in memory of Zelgos. So it's going to be cinnamon, fun, lemon, and honey. And that's basically it for the foods you can craft in this so far. Let me turn this off. I love this mod. It is very friendly for aesthetic purposes as well as diversity in what you can make. Currently, the recipes are what you saw in the cooking stove. That is all. But I love it. It is so versatile, so cool looking. As what for the actual specific crops, I am going to list those in the comments so that you have the entirety of the list and the amount of crop plots you will need for just the specifics for the crops you will need to craft the foods in the mod itself. Again, I hope y'all all enjoyed this. I hope it's informative. So what we're going to do real quick before we go is we're going to show you how to actually plant seeds. Okay? So we're not going to craft one. We're just going to take one out. So you're going to place the seed in the last slot on your hotbar. You're going to walk up to the crop plot. See, I'm on PlayStation, so it's telling me to just hit that and plant it. So now it's planted. Okay? Doesn't matter. As long as you have seeds, you can continue to plant. Again, till your soil so you can get the maximum amount of crops. We left this little dude undone so you can see it's ready. We're going to harvest it by hand. 15. So 15 is the lowest amount you can get when you harvest a plot by hand that has not been tilled. So again, always till your crops. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Lady in their Discord, or you can comment on the video itself, and we can get y'all linked in that. So we can get y'all to the Discord so y'all can ask your questions, or if you have any suggestions on recipes or foods you would like to see added to the mod. Alright guys, that's all I have for y'all today, so y'all have fun, and we will see y'all next time.